Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our DNA testing cum antioxidant workshop. My name is Jerry. I'm the Senior Director with Pharmanex. We are a leading biotech company from the US. Tonight's workshop is possible because of an exclusive partnership between Pharmanex and Genome Plan, who are the biggest DNA testing company from Korea. After this 30 minutes workshop, right, you will understand who are Genome Plan, what is DNA testing, how can we use DNA testing to improve our health, and of course, what is antioxidant scanning. And you also understand why we also call this workshop Nature with Nurture. Okay, so without further ado, let me start my workshop. Okay, first, who are Genome Plan? So like I mentioned earlier, right, Genome Plan, they are the biggest DNA testing company from Korea. Okay, and they have offices in, of course, in Korea and in Japan, and Singapore is their first office outside these two countries. So we plan to use Singapore as a headquarters to move into Southeast Asia eventually. Okay, so Genome Plan, they has 9 investors, as you can see here, right? Two very famous one is SoftBank Ventures, and of course Samsung Venture. So SoftBank, we all know, right? They are very famous for making very important technology investments like Yahoo and more recently like Alibaba. Okay, so all these investors have actually looked into Genome Plan technology and decided to be vested in Genome Plan. And Genome Plan is one of the few DNA testing company that has got ISO 9001 for quality management and ISO 27001 for security management. In fact, 27001 is in line with Singapore PDPA. So your data is actually confidential, of course. Okay, and then our lab also has got a CAP lab accreditation for both our labs in Korea and in Japan. And recently, in fact, last year around December, okay, So is a biotech magazine. They actually reported that they talk about top 15 Korean biotech startup. Okay, Genome Plan actually came in 5th. So they are the 5th Korean biotech startup, best of 2022. So I think it speaks a lot about how credible Genome Plan is, right? Yeah, and DNA testing is actually one of the top 10 breakthrough technology for 2018, as you can see in this Forbes report, where MIT actually names DNA testing as one of the top 10 breakthrough technology. So it's something new and something trending. Also, we also call this genetic fortune telling. And also closer to home, okay, more people in Singapore are recently going for genetic testing, right? In fact, before this, only US, it started from the US, of course, this technology, and Korea and Japan is also quite popular, but not so well known in Southeast Asia yet. But this article in Channel News Asia last month, okay, you can see right on the 20th of March, right, they reported that more people in Singapore are actually going for genetic testing. Okay, so what is genetic testing? It's about analyzing the genetic data. There's a blueprint of what we are. So it's a predictive nature of information and not diagnosis. Okay, about our disease and traits. Okay, so there's different ways to do DNA testing. One is a saliva sample, called blood, and so cheek swab. So what Genome Plan is doing, we're using saliva samples. Okay, so please note that genetic testing, right, does not replace medical checkup, because like I mentioned earlier, right, genetic testing is about predictive nature. Okay, every one of us is born with a unique DNA, right? Yeah, but this genetic test, right, we call it consumer grade DNA testing, right, is actually providing a predictive nature. It's not diagnostic. Okay, so medical checkup is diagnostic, right? It's analyzing your current health and condition. So genetic testing doesn't replace medical checkup, but in fact it complements medical checkup. Okay, it makes people who want to do more regular medical checkup, because when we review their risk of getting certain diseases based on the genetic risk, right, predisposition. So they'll be more, more aware of, want to do a more regular medical checkup after they get the report from the genetic testing. So there's basically 2 main categories of genetic testing. One is what we call medical grade or clinical grade DNA testing. That one has to be done with a doctor's order. So it's normally done in the hospital. Okay, so you need a doctor's order. Okay, for example, like carrier screening, okay, like prenatal testing, newborn screening, and like, of course, cancer screening. Okay, so this is not what we are doing here. Okay, what Genome Plan is offering is what we call OTC, okay, off the counter or in this case also we are called consumer grade genetic testing. So ours is not the diagnostic type, and it can be purchased off the counter, okay, like, or you buy from online, okay. So it doesn't affect, in case you're wondering, does it affect me buying insurance? Yeah, you don't even have to declare that you did a consumer grade DNA testing when you buy your insurance, okay. But of course, when you do a medical grade, yeah, that's different. You will have to declare in your let's say buy a new insurance, okay. So this is the difference between consumer grade and medical grade. Okay, so I'm going to show you a short video about how the whole process goes from the collection of the saliva sample and to the generation of the report, and how you can use what you can use the report for.
People make various efforts to maintain their health. Especially health is influenced by gene amongst other factors. Genoplan analyzes personal genotype and provide most adequate yet personalized healthcare solutions. Process is very simple. Spit your saliva into the kit and send it back to us. Genoplan's laboratory will extract your DNA from the kit and check your health-related genotype. Construct personalized report just for you. On top of that, provide diversified tips like a diet, exercise, habit, and etc., along with recommendation of appropriate products that suit your genotype. Plan better for tomorrow with genetic analysis services. Genoplan.
Okay, so we'll provide the device to collect a saliva sample in Singapore, of course. And then, of course, we will send your saliva sample to our labs in Korea. So the lead time is about 10 to 14 days from the point you send out your saliva sample to us. Okay, so the price you pay for the test kit is including all these courier charges. Okay, so there's no hidden cost. Okay, so what can you see in the report? Total about 500 items. Okay, 30 on cancer, 198 on complex diseases, 274 on traits and including ancestry. Yeah, ancestry, like for example, if you think you're Chinese, maybe not so Chinese. Like for myself, I have 1.3% Korean blood, for example. Yeah, so there's some fun facts for you to see. Okay, and of course, in the 500 reports, right? Okay, we have things like cancer. Okay, so you can see, right? Here is all the we analyzed 30 cancer risks, right? So this is actually my own report. Okay, you can see, right? I got very high risk of getting stomach cancer, right? So if you click on the cancer, you can see more, each category, you can see more details. So you see, like for example, here you can see the risk of getting your risk of getting cancer from the genetic point of view and from your lifestyle, and of course combined risk. And more importantly, right? Okay, if you scroll down further in the report, they will give you things like more details of what is stomach cancer, how do you recognize the symptoms, and what are the preventive methods. Okay, this is where why DNA testing is useful. As you can see, right, in the preventive methods, right, I'm advised to take less salty food. So when I did this report, when I did this test 2 years ago, right, I really start consuming less salty food, okay, and then you also see they mention, right, you have to take a lot of garlic and onion. These are the kind of stuff I will actually take out for my food in the past. But now that I did the genetic test, right, when I eat my food, right, when I have all these, I actually eat it, because I know it's good to prevent stomach cancer. Yeah, so this is one of the usefulness of doing a DNA test, because you know your risk of getting certain so-called illness or disease, right, or cancer. You can start to do lifestyle mitigation, okay, to mitigate the risk of getting all this disease, right? Because ultimately is later you'll know why. Okay, it's actually lifestyle play a bigger part, right? Then of course, we also have things like, you see on the left hand side, you can see there's this whole category of nutrition. You can see that based on your genes, are you able to absorb all the nutrients, the minerals from the food and from the food you eat, like for example, EPA, DHA, vitamin A, all the different minerals and things like that. Yeah, because sometimes when you eat natural doesn't mean you can absorb, right? Your DNA can be the reason. Okay, then of course, now we all know we are in a pandemic, right? So we also included 2 reports pertaining to COVID-19. One is on infection risk, okay? The other one is severity of symptoms. So again, this is my own report. So you can see, right, in terms of getting COVID-19, okay, my risk is actually green is a good means slightly low. But you see, right, if I do get infected, okay, my severity of the symptom actually is slightly high, slightly severe, right? So yeah, this is something that we included recently. I think this was included into our report around last year, July. Okay. So as you can see from these two articles in March last month, right? Actually, they also mentioned, taking longer time to get well after infection, it could be due to your genes. And the other one is also Straits Time, okay, hit harder by COVID-19 compared to other people, is also due to your genes. So you see, our genes actually tell a lot of things about us. So like I say just now, I show you, right, we also included this in COVID-19 in our 500 item report. So DNA testing, right, is a key element for what we call the 3P of healthcare era. We're talking about prevention, prediction, and of course, personalization, right? So there's a paradigm shift from cure to prevention and wellness. Okay, so the current healthcare system is what we call disease-centric. So you see, right, the patient is in the middle. Okay, then you can see, you're looking for cure, and then hospital, and then of course on top is the yellow color is the doctor, right? And of course you're looking at medicine, right? So what we are trying to do with DNA testing, okay, is what we call the future of healthcare. We are talking about prevention. Okay, so instead of being a patient, right, we are supposed to prevent you from getting sick in the first place, right? So it's consumer. So you see, you're not sick yet, you're a consumer. So because we are using prevention, right? So instead of a doctor, we are looking at health planners like myself, health consultants, okay? And instead of hospital, we're looking at wellness center. And instead of taking medicine, because you're not even sick, right? Yeah, we're talking about nutrition, exercise, lifestyle, okay? So this is, so DNA testing play a very important part, okay, in this paradigm shift from cure to prevention and wellness. So a good example of prediction is, for example, you see weather forecast, right? So when the weather forecast is going to be raining, okay, so you'll bring out your umbrella, right? Yeah, but sometimes it also doesn't rain, right? So this is what is about the genetic fortune telling. So a good example of using genetic fortune telling, but this case a bit extreme, is the Angelina Jolie effect. I think what some of you have heard, right? Many years ago, okay, Angelina Jolie did a DNA test, okay, and then she removed her breast, not because she's diagnosed with breast cancer, because the DNA test revealed that she has a very, very likely chance of getting breast cancer in her lifetime. But of course, she's not doing home-based. She's doing what just now I mentioned earlier, right? Remember the differentiation between home-based and clinical grade. So what she did was a clinical grade. So it's a very diagnostic nature already. So it's very, very accurate, right? So we're not saying home-based is not accurate, because home-based, we're looking at different things. We're looking at prediction. We're looking at, based on your genes, your risk of getting certain diseases. But what Angelina Jolie did is a combination of prediction plus diagnostic. That means she also looked at her current condition, and then they work out something. And then in those days, we are talking about a few hundred, I think those days it's about 500,000 for her to do this test. So she spent 500,000. That's why she made the drastic measure to remove her breast, even when she was not diagnosed with breast cancer. Yeah. So this is one of the use of DNA technology. Okay. So like I mentioned, right, we are in the era of personalization. Okay, it's no longer one size fits all. So with the report coming out from the DNA, we are able to do this personalization and customization part. Okay, when we are giving solutions, right? So this slide actually is very important. It shows, okay, which is also good news. It shows that what we are today, right? Okay, about 30% is come from our genetic predisposition. So isn't that a good news? Because we still have 60 to 70% in our hands in terms of our lifestyle, in terms of our environment, right? So many illnesses and cancer actually is a cause of our bad lifestyle or bad environment and things like that. So our genetic only take up 30%. So that's the good news. We have a majority in our hands to do something about it, right? To prevent all these things from eventually happening, right? So these 10-year studies, okay, published in 2016, exactly illustrate what we mean about lifestyle is key. Okay, so these studies were sponsored by RGA, one of the largest reinsurer in the world. Okay, it was done in King College. Okay, so what is this studies about? It's a 10-year studies. Okay, they do on different groups of people and they all get the same result. Okay, let me just summarize what this peer review study shows. Okay, so you can see, right, at the beginning of the 10-year, right, they did a DNA test on this three group of people. Okay, so some have a low risk of getting a coronary event, which is heart disease. Okay, some is high risk and some intermediate. Okay, But at the end of 10 years, okay, you look at this amazing discovery. Okay, let's look at the high risk one. You can see, okay. So those at the beginning of 10 years, they were diagnosed with, when they did the DNA testing, right? They were said to have a very high risk of getting a coronary event. Okay, but over the 10 years, right, they lead very favorable lifestyle. You can see in this blue column, right? So at the end of 10 years, the actual risk of getting the heart disease, okay, is actually about just below 6, you can see, right? But on the other hand, those group of people at the beginning of 10 years, they were said to have very low risk of getting heart disease, okay, but they lead a very unfavorable, so extreme end, they lead a very unfavorable lifestyle. You look at the actual risk, do you realize that the actual risk, the actual incidence of getting the heart disease of this group, okay, is actually higher than this group that we initially diagnosed with high genetic risk. So this shows what lifestyle is key. Yeah, even though they have a very high risk of getting, but they live very favorable lifestyle, they're able to mitigate the risk, right? In the end, the actual risk, the actual percentage of them people getting the heart disease, okay, in this group, but they live favorable lifestyle, is actually lower than those with low risk but live unfavorable lifestyle. So you see, lifestyle is key. Okay, this is where PharmaNex come in. Okay, so like I say, this is an exclusive partnership between PharmaNex and Genome Plan. So PharmaNex come in because we have the first and only device in the world that can measure antioxidant non-invasively. So earlier you saw in the research, right? So lifestyle is key, right? So as you all know, right, antioxidant, right? There's a direct correlation between antioxidant and our health. Okay, meaning if you lead a favorable lifestyle, we will definitely be healthy, right? That means we eat clean, we not so stressed, exercise, things like that. So when you are healthy, right, your antioxidant level is high. So PharmaNex has a device that can measure almost instantaneous, okay, it's about 30 seconds, okay, less than a minute, okay, your level of antioxidant in human body, okay. So these two scientists actually exactly said what I mentioned earlier, how antioxidant correlate to health. Okay, Dr. Richard Cutler, he is a research scientist with NIA. He made this statement, right? The amount of antioxidant in our body is directly proportional to how long we will live. So you see, when you have a high antioxidant defense, right? Okay, you will be healthier, and of course you live longer. Okay, and the father of antioxidant, Lester Packer, okay, because of him, the world start to talk about antioxidant. You can Google both of these scientists yourself, okay? So he made this statement that more than 70% of people will die prematurely or caused by diseases or compounded by deficiency of the antioxidant defense network. So you can see very clearly, right? Yeah, so antioxidant is very important for good health. So if you know antioxidant, you also must know free radical, because antioxidant is to defend against free radical damage, right? So these are the common sources of free radical, like drugs and antibiotics, smokers, cigarette smokes, okay, stress also. A lot of people undermine the potency of stress on our health. If you're constantly under stress and duress, it's actually very bad for health. It's a free radical, right? And of course, now we have COVID-19, which is under bacteria and viruses, okay? EMF, like your Wi-Fi, household chemicals, alcohol, yeah, alcoholics, okay, is also a free radical, okay? Excessive exercise, okay? Mold in the house, okay? Radiation, okay, like from electronic devices like the laptop that you're watching the workshop now, or your handphone, right? There's some form of radiation, right? And of course, pollution, okay, pollution from the environment. In Singapore context, people who stay in the West will be hit with a higher level of pollution because of the heavy industries, right, in the West side, okay? And of course, your diet, if you're always consuming processed food, okay, is also a free radical. And lack of sleep, okay, lack of sleep is also a very potent free radical, right? And toxins, and of course UV rays, okay, UV rays has got radiation, right? Yeah, so all these are sources of free radical. So you see, free radical can cause free radical damage. So antioxidant is actually acts like a shield. So you can see from this chart, right, on the left hand side, if the cell in your body, right, is like this, whereby okay, the red color is a free radical and the blue ones are the antioxidant. So if your antioxidant is not a lot, right, I mean it's not enough, right, it's easier for the free radical to damage yourself, because you will always have, you cannot totally eradicate free radical from your life, right? Even you are not a smoker, okay, you're not a drinker, you have stress, right, or you eat processed food, or you stay in Jurong, you get what I mean? It's a pollution. So you can never totally eradicate. It's only how much you are exposed to based on your lifestyle, right? Okay, so one way is to prevent free radical damage is to increase your antioxidant protection. So you can see on the right hand side, if your cell in your body is like this, this scenario, right? You see, you realize it acts like a shield against a free radical. Yeah, the free radical is always there, but you have a lot of antioxidant protection. Right? It's more difficult for the free radical to eventually damage your cell. Okay. So traditionally, how do we measure antioxidant? Okay, if you go to any clinics or hospital with this procedure, right? It's always an invasive procedure. Okay, involve blood, urine, and also a mini incision of your skin. Okay, so there's a mini surgery to remove a portion of our skin because the antioxidant is actually also concentrated in your skin. Okay, so this test will take 2 to 3 weeks to get the result, and because it involves a mini surgery, right? There's always a risk of infection and pain, of course, and it's a very rather expensive procedure. Okay, yeah. Later I'll show you a brochure from a private institution in Singapore where you can see you know how much they charge for antioxidant screening. So what is PharmaNext technology? Okay, we use non-invasive laser, and like I mentioned, right, in less than 1 minute, okay, in fact about 30 seconds, we can tell your score. Okay, so later at the end of this workshop, you'll know that we are actually giving a complimentary scan from this device with the price of the test kit that you're paying. Okay, so that's why this is an exclusive partnership between both companies. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a private organization in Singapore. We're all familiar, Raffles, okay, from the Raffles Group. So you can see from this brochure, right, antioxidant screening will put you back about $900, okay, with GST. Okay, so this is the usual traditional way where they have to draw blood and urine, and then also a mini incision of skin, and you take about 2 to 3 weeks to get your results. Okay, let me play you a news feature. Remember, we are from the US, right? So there's many US doctors also uses the exact device, okay, the same PharmaNext biophotonic scanner, right, in their clinics. Okay, this is a news feature from the state of San Diego. Okay, let me just play the news feature.
In tonight's Healthy Living, we zero in on antioxidants and the impact they have on our lives. At your next physical, don't be surprised if you're offered a new test that measures the amount of antioxidants in your body. The test is done with what some doctors are calling a new revolutionary tool. It's a scanner, and here's how it works. By placing the palm of your hand in front of the scanner, a low-energy blue light gives you a reading of the amount of antioxidant levels in your skin. It does this by measuring the carotenoid levels in the skin. Carotenoids are an important type of antioxidant found in many fruits and vegetables. Scientists believe they protect our cells, providing a defense from free radicals, those unstable molecules that increase your risk for diseases like cancer. In less than a minute, the scanner gives you a skin carotenoid score, or SCS. Low is at the red part of the spectrum, high the purple. The score shows if your diet, lifestyle, and supplements you may be taking are giving you the protection you need for better health.
Unfortunately, that's most of America. Most of America falls in the red. So our job is to help people get in the green and the blue, and we do that by telling them, change your lifestyle, increase your exercise, change what you're eating. It's kind of a wake-up call.
So how much does the test cost, and is it covered by insurance?
So it's not covered by insurance. It costs $25 to get scanned. I have an insurance-based practice. People have the option of opting in or opting out. And for $25, it puts value on the scan and kind of helps them take that first step to make a commitment to be healthy.
Okay, so you can see, right, in the news feature they mentioned, right, the higher the score on the device, the healthier you are, and if you are low on your antioxidant, your risk of getting chronic diseases like cancer is higher. And then when they interviewed the doctor in the studio, okay, did you hear how much he charged his patient? $25 US per scan. Still much cheaper than the traditional way of 900 plus in Singapore, right? So like I repeat again, okay, with this exclusive partnership, right, we are throwing the first scan complimentary. Okay, so the price of the test kit that you pay for will include one complimentary scan from PharmaNext. So a little bit of a scanner, the history of the development of this scanner, okay, of this technology. Okay, it's based on a Nobel Prize physics called Raman spectroscopy, named after the scientist, the Indian scientist who invented this light technology. So we are the first company in the world in 2003, right? After spending 6 years of R&D and 100 million spent, we invented the first biophotonic scanner called the S1, the first generation, and we filed a 20-year patent. That's why up to now, we are still the first and only company with such a technology to measure human antioxidant non-invasively. And a few years later, the S3 was the S2 was developed, okay, much faster, 90 seconds. The first device, S1, need about 3 minutes. So S2 is, you can see it's smaller, also much faster, 90 seconds. And the latest generation called the S3, which my team will be using, okay, is only needs 30 seconds. Okay, so it's the most accurate of the bunch. Okay, and it's also very slick. Okay, and it's instead of using a laptop, you can use a Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth to an iPad. Okay, so it's technology nowadays is like, making work easier. Okay. Okay, and because it has been, this technology has been around for coming to 20 years already, right? So remember, we filed a 20-year patent from 2023. So there's already featured in a lot of media, okay? For example, the famous Dr. Oz show, for those who are familiar, you all know Dr. Oz, right? Yeah, he's a retired doctor, he has his own talk show. So he uses our second generation in one of his show. The episode is about antioxidant relationship to cancer. So he was explaining to his audience, he actually scanned his audience using the device because he cannot be taking blood and urine sample, right, before the live show. So he just use the scanner to scan, putting their palm on the scanner, right? So those who are in red zone, he tell them, you better be careful. This is what he called the cancer zone, okay? Yeah, his show is always quite fun, quite humorous. He tried to make medical terms very easy to understand. And of course, you can see on the bottom left, our EM Go, okay, when the first generation was in Singapore, yeah, we were featured in a health promotion board event. So at that time, the VIP was Goh Chok Tong, EM Goh Chok Tong. So we also appeared in a lot of news channels in Singapore, and of course, just now you saw one of the news channels in the US, right? So we also featured in Fox News, ABC, CNBC. Okay, a few years later, when the second generation was in Singapore, again, we were featured in another health promotion board event, as you can see in this Chinese newspaper press. Okay, the then Minister of Health, Koh Boon Wan, okay, was actually the VIP then. Okay, so again, we were featured in a health promotion board event. I think that time HPV has got a drive to encourage citizens to take lots of fruits and vegetables, because that's a good source of antioxidant, right? Yeah. And 7 years ago, before the S3, the third generation was in Singapore, right? The S2 was actually featured in our national news channel, okay, Channel News Asia. So you can see very clearly, these are the screenshots from the news feature, okay? So you can see very clearly our VP of R&D from Pharmanex, okay, Dr. Mark Ballard was interviewed on national TV, and I had the honor to meet the man himself, okay, before pandemic, of course, 2018, that was my shot with him. So if you have a chance to go to our office, right, you can see the 3 generation being displayed in our showcase, okay? So you can see the one I'm holding is the latest generation S3, the one at the bottom is the S1, and then S2 is on top. So you can see, right, very clearly in the Channel News Asia picture, we are featured under this segment called the Doctor is In. Okay, Doctor is In is a segment where they feature the latest so-called medical breakthroughs. So you can see very clearly, right, this caption from Channel News Asia, they mentioned, right, measuring your antioxidant level, what does the score say about your immunity? So you see, right, our human antioxidant level is also linked to our immunity, also direct co-relationship. Means if you have a strong antioxidant defense, right, you will likely have a good immunity. I think now in the pandemic, COVID pandemic, right, I think immunity is a key word, right? So it's good to have. So it's also a good gauge on your immunity level, right, with this device. And of course, many other health professionals in the US also uses our technology in their practice. Okay, so I show 2 examples here. The one on the left is actually a advanced eye care center. So if you go to their website, okay, you click under the list of services. Okay, biophotonic scanning from Pharmanex is one of the services they offer, but I'm sure they charge their patients. Okay, so they are just offering another value add service in terms of health for their eye patient, right? And then on the right hand side is a very famous sports doctor called Dr. Murphy. So you can see, right, Paul C. Murphy, he's a medical doctor. So if you go to his Murphy Sport Medicine website, you click under regenerative medicine. There's also this. He also offers this Pharmanex biophotonic scanner in his service, in his practice. So this shows how legit and credible our device is, right? Where other medical professionals outside the companies are also using it. Okay, and this is the latest so-called to show how credible our technology is. I'm sure we all know this company Abbott, okay, especially now because of pandemic, right? They are one of the first few COVID-19 ART test kit to be approved by MOH. So you probably see this box lying around in Watson and Guardian, right? But Abbott is also one of the world top pharmaceutical company, and they also make their own medical device, and they are also famous for making very expensive premium baby formula. Or some mothers in the audience will know, yeah, sometimes maybe you feed your kid with Abbott baby formula. So why I show you these because you can see Abbott actually filed a patent, okay, in 2000. The patent was actually granted in 2019. Okay, so they actually filed a patent to protect a new infant formula with antioxidant. Okay, so you look at firstly the patent is approved. Secondly, you look at the description. Okay, they actually uses Pharmanex biophotonic scanner to prove to the patent department infant who consume their infant formula with antioxidant actually increase their antioxidant level. Okay, you can see right for each infant tested, the palm was a small area of the palm was shined with the laser. Right? Yeah, they are using our technology. Can you imagine such a big company like Abbott also have to use our technology to prove to the patent department that their product really work? Yeah, I think this shows how credible our device is, right, in terms of measuring antioxidant. Yeah, so this, I repeat again, you'll be getting one complimentary scan from every purchase of the test kit from this exclusive partnership. Okay, before I end my my workshop, okay, I'm going to share with you what are the usual DNA testing kits price in the market. So these are some of the popular ones. Okay, of course, Gene Life is from Genesis 2.0 from Gene Life is from Japan. Okay, and then DNA Code is a local company. Okay, and then of course the more famous one will be Circle DNA. They also sold at Watson. So you can see, right, in terms of features and the number of items we are testing, we are on par with Circle, but look at our pricing. Okay, so for those who are invited to come for this workshop, right, you can check with your friend how much you can purchase the test kit for. Okay, it's at a fraction of the cost of Circle DNA, but we are offering as much as in terms of the number of items, 500 items. We also include Ancestry. Yeah, Circle also have Ancestry. Okay, so you can see right clearly for yourself, we are the most value for money test kit in the market. Okay, so some people ask me, hey, how come you can offer such a good pricing compared to, let's say, Circle? Okay, because we are using a different business model. Okay, Circle uses a lot of celebrity endorsements, which will actually will add into the cost, right? Because it's not cheap to use celebrity. So some of you might have seen on Facebook, on social media, Jam. Okay, she's a very famous Hong Kong singer. Her Chinese name is Deng Ziqi. Yeah, they also use Vanessa Wu. They also use Gigi Leong. They use all these kind of celebrity, right? Yeah, Circle is a Hong Kong brand, so they use a lot of Hong Kong celebrity to promote or to be ambassador for their test kit. And they also use a lot of Facebook marketing and Facebook advertisement. Yeah, so that's why you keep seeing their ads on social media. Like once let's say you do a research on DNA testing, I'll show you the next day you'll get to see them in your Facebook. So all these are very expensive so-called costs, right? Marketing costs. Okay, Genome Plan do not employ any of this. Okay, so we are running things like word of mouth, and then through public Zoom workshop like what I'm doing now to educate the public about our services. Okay, and so we are using what we call B2B2C model. Okay, so the B2B here is Genome Plan and Pharmanex, of course, and then C will be the consumer, right? So by doing this model, we are able to offer a very comprehensive test kit at the price that your friend tell you, right? So yeah, I hope after tonight's session, okay, you'll know more about what is DNA testing, okay, why we should all be doing DNA testing, and also, of course, the importance of having an antioxidant screening. Okay, thanks everyone for your attendance. Okay, hope to see you. You can, if you find tonight's workshop useful, okay, do refer your friends to attend our next workshop. Check with a friend who invited you when is our next workshop. Thank you, everyone. Bye.